I'm sure that we have the ability to produce breakthrough energy at very low cost. If you go back,
why
and
are you sure of that?
My Dutch partners, I met because they were doing a series of conferences on breakthrough energy, and they brought together breakthrough energy inventors from around the world. And, you can see all the videos up on the internet and really went through the history from Tesla on of different inventors who have discovered and claimed different innovations with breakthrough energy. And I'm convinced that this energy exists. And I'm also convinced if you look at a lot of the really fast ships, flying around the planet, that they're not using classical electricity.
They're not using.
Right. So,
they're not running on diesel.
Right. Exactly. Right. So.
Yeah. So we know that these, I'm sorry I get so caught up in the details, but we know that there are quite a number of large underground bases in the United States. We can state that as fact.
Right.
And then the question becomes, of course, like if they're connected to the power grid, if they're pulling off just a conventional natural gas electricity generation station, you could know that and measure it, but you think they have independent energy sources. Of course they do.
So one of the questions I have that I think is really important is when you look at breakthrough energy, if you were running the planet, so I have this nickname for the committee at the top, Mr. Global. If you were Mr. Global, you would not want to implement breakthrough energy on a widespread basis for a variety of reasons, one of which is everybody got a hold of it and weaponized it. It could be very dangerous.
Why?
My understanding is that literally one small group of people could take this, with no sovereign powers or, just organized crime and use it in a way that could weaponize it and make it very dangerous. I'm not a scientist. I don't really understand.
Right, but energy by definition is dangerous. Gasoline's dangerous.
Right.
Right. Electricity's dangerous. Of course, nuclear energy's dangerous.
Right. But if you're the risk manager and you're in charge of managing the planet, this has more disruption capability, both weaponization, economic. Suddenly everybody's free to do whatever they want, and so they're much harder to control. So if you're Mr. Global and you have the capacity to dramatically lower the energy cost, the other danger is then population skyrockets, and you're concerned about that. So if you're Mr. Global and you're worried about what will happen if you bring this technology out, it's very convenient to get complete control. If you don't trust the population to be environmentally responsible or politically responsible, then complete control